We're going to start with 23, and then we're going to do 27, okay? So question 23, we have 4 divided by 1. 1 over x plus 1 plus 2 over x. Now, one other thing, just get my calculator. Okay, and we're good. So when it's flashing red, it's recording, okay? So what we have here, guys, is you look for a common denominator. The 1 looks across, it sees an x and an x plus 1. So we put an x and an x plus 1 on the top line, okay? The x plus 1 looks across and it sees the number 1, which we don't have to use, and it also sees an x. So we put an x top and bottom. The x looks across and it sees the 1 and the x plus 1, but once again we only need to use the x plus 1. Okay, and we have a question on question 23 so far, specifically question 23. Okay, 4x times x, guys. 4x squared, 4x by 1. 4x equals 1 times x. 2 times x plus 1. 2x plus 2. Now, I generally ask you guys to tidy up on one side, and then we're going to move everything to one side. So what we're going to have here is 4x squared. Bring over the 3x, take it away from the 4x, and we get, well, 1x. Then bring over the 2. Minus 2 equals 0. We've now formed the quadratic equation. You're going to do the minus b formula. Now, some people were taking a very lazy route to doing this. In an exam, you'd write down your formula. Following writing down your formula, there was more than one. Following writing your formula, you're going to write out the minus b formula using empty brackets. Not just going to write down the answer like it came out of nowhere. That's a recipe for disaster. Okay? You lose yourself about 5 or 6 easy marks that way. And we have a question, Louis. As stated, it's always worth writing down the formula. You can pick up easy marks on a lot of questions, but just writing down the formula you have to use, okay? Difference between being a C sometimes, okay, or pass and a fail. Now, what's A, B, and C, guys? A, B is 1, C is minus 2. I also advise you to do something else while you're here. Equals minus 1. So minus 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared 4 times 4 minus 2 all over 2 times 4. Okay, now this question specifically wants me to write the answers in decimal places, okay? So to do this, you're going to take out your calculator. We'll put it on the screen. Right, press the fraction button first. Minus 1. We'll do the plus. It says plus or minus, so it means we do both. We'll start off with the plus first. And then we have 1 squared minus 4, bracket 4, bracket minus 2, all over 2 times 4. 1 second, just going to wrap this one up. And your answer is minus 1 plus root 33 over 8. So 1 second, I told you, minus 1 plus root 33 over 8. So the next answer is minus 1 minus root 33 over 8. So what you can do in your calculator is press the change button and you get 0.59. And the second answer, you can just type that into your calculator as minus 1 minus root 33 all over 8. Put in your calculator again. See the way it comes out? See the minus on the outside? That minus is multiplied by the 1 and the 33. It looks exactly the same as the other one, but it's different. It's actually both of them are negative. Okay, so I think Alan was asking me about that yesterday. And it's minus 0.84. Okay, so that's question 24. Now we're going to move on to 27. Okay, recheck the answer. You want it to 2 decimal places. Oh, sorry, yeah, you wanted to 2 decimal places, and that was question 23 done. Now, question 27. 1 over 3 equals 2 over x minus 1 over x plus 1. Okay, I'm in class. Tell me what you want to do with these ones. Yes, Glenn. X and x plus 1. Good job. So the tree looks over to your side. It sees this one and this one. So once it sees the 2 of them, it immediately wants them in the denominator with it. Yeah. The x sees the 3 and the x plus 1, which is correct. So you put a 3 and an x plus 1 beside it. Okay. And then the last one. The x plus 1 sees the x and the 3. Is everybody getting the starting off point all right? Like it's always the same stuff, and it's just a 3 by an x and a 3 by an x. Now, here's the more tricky stuff. X by x, x squared, x by 1, 1x. 2 by 3, 6 by x and 1, 6x plus 6. And then finally, minus 1 by 3, minus 3 by x, minus 3x, I think is what we're trying to say there. Now, x squared plus 1x, tidy up first, 3x plus 6. Now that's a 1x, okay? So what's 1x take away 3x? Huh? Minus 2x. Okay, yeah. So somebody just noticed that when we transferred over the plus 6 transferred across the equal sign. When it did, it should have changed to a minus 6, okay? So what we'll just do there is we'll just fix up this now, and we'll change that into a minus. So it's actually x squared minus 2x minus 6. You're right? You're correct? No. Oh, yeah, you're still right. Okay, so a equals 1, b equals minus 2. What does minus b equal? 2, and c equals minus 6. Okay, same thing as the minus b formula from the last question, okay? There is there. So we're going to reuse that down here. Okay, so here's what we're going to get. Minus b plus or minus the square root. Now just keep your blanks. Just stops any errors happening. Okay, now what do we put in? Starting off, it's the minus b formula, so minus b is the first thing. So what is minus b? B squared. Squared 4ac. 1 minus 6, and then 2 times a, 2 times 1. Once again, straight to the calculator with this. Fraction button first. 2 plus square root minus 2 squared minus 4 bracket 1 bracket minus 6 all over 2 times 1. And finally, we get 1 plus root 7, and that means the other answer will have to be, anybody? 1 minus root 7, and if asked for it in decimals, you could change it there. Okay guys, that took